Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I mean, I was leaving the casino and I was on her way of the highway and I got a little bit lost. So, that's why you just don't follow her directions. I was not going to a hairdresser, but the great news is you're getting stimulus. Mitch wants you to get stimulus. Joe wants you to get stimulus. Wall Street says it's coming. And the incredible details across the board is hazard pay, extension of FPUC, extension of PUA, multiple stimulus checks. $200 a month for SSI and Social Security, EIDL loans with no caps. I mean, just student loan debt forgiveness. There's so much breaking news tonight, and it's absolutely accordingly, shockingly great. It's a day in which I'm so excited for you. In 30 minutes from now, at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Evening's Check will debut. Make sure you watch that taped show. That's Check at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, about 15 minutes after this recording ends. I'm going to have all the jaw-dropping great news across the board. I will be going over multiple stimulus checks. I'll be going over hazard pay, student loan debt forgiveness, FPUC, PUA, EIDL, hazard pay, that $200 for Social Security. It's just incredible, great news. Let's take a look at who's in the room tonight. Janet, Benjamin, Diane, with a lot of beautiful hearts. Who else is in the room tonight? My God, it's already 1,800 people. It's a great night. Whitney, Maria, Matt, Mike, Ola, Esther, Shawnee, Sharon, Kalisa, Kelly, Jason, Lewis, Kelly. So where is everyone from tonight? Toledo, Ohio. What cities are you from and where are you from? Let me hear where you are. LA, where else are you from? What cities are you watching from tonight? I want to hear where you are. Louisiana, New Hampshire, Arizona, Kentucky, Houston, Alabama, Allison, Texas, Chicago, Cary, El Paso, Detroit, Maryland, Raleigh, Michigan, Minnesota, Rapids, Iowa, North Carolina, Hawaii, hello, aloha. New York, wow, we're covering Arkansas, Virginia, Louisiana, and Decatur, Illinois. Well, it's a great night. I'm so glad you're here. It's absolutely incredible across the board. And I'm so excited about Missouri's in the house with San Antonio and Seattle. The day started with incredible great news. We finally know that a vaccine is coming, so we can sort of check that one off the list. I detailed that on morning's LALATE, so I'm not going to go over too much about the vaccine. But the great news is that it's going to be coming to some people in late December and for the rest of us in 2021. So that is that item. But the important thing is the stimulus news. The stimulus news across the board today was just categorically incredible. There is stimulus news coming from Mitch, Joe Transition, and Joe Campaign, and they're all sort of different things that are all wrapped up in one. And you try to see where they match, and they're matching in a lot of great places. Joe wants this, Mitch wants this, and here and there you see the match. Where are the matches? Mitch wants the problem solvers bill. Joe wants something a little bit more robust, but the deal provisions are all very similar. Mitch, in wanting the problem solvers bill and Lindsey Graham, the problem solvers bill has multiple stimulus checks. It has one now and one in March. What does Joe say about multiple stimulus checks? He says stimulus checks as needed and continuing as so warranted. This is incredible great news because when you hear that, that sounds like Senator Harris. He wants to give you checks until you no longer need them. What's important to understand is that in the last week, we were talking a lot about second package and third stimulus package. And what you hear with Joe talking and Mitch is they sort of want to just do this now and get it done with. Don't come back to me with more in, January, February. Just let's do this now and then we're out of the pandemic, which is incredible, great news. So tonight, I'm going to be talking about just one package as a whole package. So you follow me where we're going. Then we talk about the money, and boy, those checks, you have been incredible. Purple power, that's what this recording is about. The power of you, your power. You've been on social media today, and I've seen some of your incredible images. You've been pushing the message very loud and clear. Please repurpose that existing CARES Act 1 money of unused PPP money and use it for our stimulus checks. And you said it like that. You followed my advice to not say, go use that $800 billion because no one will know what you're talking about. And so you've absolutely been on message because you don't want someone to use that for something that has nothing to do with you. The cows already got their already got their ice cream and their yogurt, so they don't need anything else. Sirloin is fine. He got his Cowalac. So what you need is to make sure they use that money, and by using that money, it reduces the problem solvers bill and gets more in there because you're going to need more in there. You're going to need hazard pay. So where are we tonight? Well, Joe Biden's transition statements say that he wants to provide state, local, and tribal governments with the aid they need so educators, firefighters, and other essential workers aren't being laid off. That's hazard pay language. So what was that's a statement Sunday. What was his hazard pay language during the campaign? It was the HEROES Act. Absolutely incredible. That HEROES Act, that $13 an hour from January all the way up to the president, if you worked as an essential worker, up to a certain threshold, and then it hits your bank account as a lump sum. And then if you made $100,000 or more last year, it would be reduced. It's absolutely incredible. During the campaign, he said a NAC premium payment for frontline workers putting themselves at risk. The Heroes Fund needs to be passed, which would give essential workers a raise with additional funding to serve as health and home care workers. This is incredible, great news. My viewers, you're owed hazard pay. So is anyone in the room tonight an essential worker or know that you're an essential worker? Say the type of essential worker you are, and I'll say yes or no of whether it was covered in the Heroes Fund. I'll start with some that we already know are essential. EMT, yes. Medical, yes. Janitor, yes. Mechanic, maybe not. Daycare, yes. RNN, yes. Firefighter, yes. Restaurant, yes. Airlines, yes. Grocery, yes. Truck driver, yes. Dental assistant, yes. Account receivable for the county, yes. In some cases, health guard, yes. Home care, yes. Loan off a company, generally no. Bus driver, yes. A caregiver, yes. Officers, yes. Landscaper, no, unless it's maintenance for a building, then yes. Gas station, no. Convenience store, yes. Healthcare, yes. Police care, yes. Front a hotel, no, perhaps not. Contract with government depends on what you're doing. Parts driver, if you're a truck driver, yes. Someone going really fast now. Mail carrier, yes. For UPS, yes. Truck driver, yes. Amazon driver, yes. Cook, if it was a restaurant, yes. Plumber, if it's maintenance, yes. Own my own business. You can still get it if you own your own business. Lift, absolutely yes. Dietary cook, yes. If it's in a restaurant, yes. Construction worker, no. Surprisingly, no. Factory worker, depends on what you're doing in the factory. Registered nurse, plant worker, depending on what you're doing in a plant. So you understand it. Security officer, yes. Clean doctor's office, yes. So that's one of the examples I use. You clean the fact you're at the doctor's office, dog groomer. I think you're essential, but no. Concierge at a hotel, generally no. Fast food, no. Lowe's, generally no. FedEx, if you're a driver, yes. Grubhub, yes, if you're a driver. Garbage truck driver, yes. So you're seeing how there is that disparity. But what I want you, when I said no to you tonight, the Heroes Act specifically said we want this to be broad and overcompensate. So there are some areas in which it was unclear, and they said, you know what, we want to make it broad. So when we see liquor store, yes, that's covered, but then we see packaging, cold storage, generally no. But why is one more important? That's what's great about the Heroes Fund is it tries to make it encompassing for all. Now, what would Mitch do with this? Mitch, pilot car driver, yes. What Mitch would do, thank you for the super chat as well, pilot car driver. What Mitch would do is he would not pay you $10,000. He'll pay you some hazard pay, but he's not going to pay you $10,000. So that's how you sort of rope it in and do it in a bipartisan way. Next, student loan debt. Student loan debt would be forgiven. Biden will forgive $10,000 in student debt for all borrowers, and the rest for all borrowers, and then the rest of the debt for those attended public schools or colleges or historic black colleges and universities and earn $125,000 less per year. Boy, incredibly exciting news. Then let me go to my SSI viewers. Anyone in the room who wants to hear about SSI or Social Security benefits, tell me yes if you want to hear about that right now. Anyone want to hear about? Oh, there's some hearts. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's get to it. Oh, wow, a lot of yeses. All right. So Joe Biden does not detail SSI and Social Security in his transition statements, although he refers to them vaguely. He talks about them in his campaign statements. Today, CNBC said that Joe Biden will be pushing to get this done. What's important to understand, it's not in his transition statements. Let me go explain what he defaults to. He defaults to the Warren Wyden plan. Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden detailed this. And by the way, Elizabeth Warren is widely reported to be a top candidate as a cabinet member. So she would be pushing for the bill that she wanted. This is why we're pushing to include in Congress's next stimulus package a $200 increase in the monthly benefit for all Social Security veterans and supplemental Social Security, excuse me, I butchered that, and supplemental security income SSI beneficiaries through the end of 2021. Isn't that incredible? So that would put about $4,000 in the pockets of seniors and people with disabilities who have earned this benefit by contributing to Social Security with every paycheck. A simple benefit increase like this would improve the lives of millions of Americans and help stabilize the economy. This is incredible. So $200 per month to the end of next year, and about $4,000. Just incredible. I saw someone just tweet about FPUC, which is where I'm going right next. So Joe and Mitch agree across the board for unemployment. And what's important to understand when you talk about unemployment is that there's three items at issue. And I detail this on Check coming up in at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time and 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, in about 15 minutes after this recording, about 15 minutes from now. I go over this in great detail, but let me explain to you what's important to understand. In recent weeks, when we talk about FPUC, we only talk about FPUC as though you still have UI weeks and as though you still have PUA weeks. There's a problem with that. There is no FPUC if you've run out of weeks of benefits. So imagine you roll into January and then, Joe and Mitch pass FPUC. Congratulations, we passed FPUC. And then you're at LALATE, you're like, but LALATE, I have no more weeks of benefits. They ran out. And I'm like, yeah, someone made a drafting error. You don't want that to happen. And that's not happening. So what's incredible great news is that Mitch and Joe, on point, and you got to keep them on point, want to extend the weeks of UI benefits, extend the weeks of PUA benefits, and add FPUC on top of that. You have to have your UI and PUA, otherwise there's nothing to put on top of it. It's like, I'm going to give you icing for a cake, but there's no cake. So your UI benefits were generally you started with your normal UI benefits, then you have your FPUC, which extended the number of weeks of benefits. That expires in December. Then your PUA weeks are ending in December as well. So Joe and Mitch want to extend those weeks of benefits. That's the good news. Then the issue is, okay, how far are you extending it? Well, you want them to extend it as far as needed. And then you want to go back to July. That's the hard push. That's fully admit a hard push to get them going all the way back to July. And then you want FPUC. Now, how much is the FPUC per week? You want FPUC to land at something reasonable. Mitch has done $300 a week. We know that. He's done $300 a week as three proposals. That's not reasonable. He wants to do the problem solvers bill. Lindsey Graham wants to do a problem solvers bill. Most Republicans want to do the problem solvers bill. That's $450 for 8 weeks, and then $600 for weeks after that. Joe wants to do $600 a week. It's not going to happen at $600 a week. So you should really be happy if that comes in at $400 a week, that we extend the UI, we extend the PUA, we extend the FPUC, and that we go retroactively enough weeks. This is what Joe said during the campaign about FPUC. And remember, this was in the context of a statement about women, but it's for everyone. Make women who lose their jobs financially whole by ensuring they get back their unemployment insurance on time and in full. Biden would create a Banks Defense Production Act to make sure that banks would work with states to prioritize and deliver unemployment benefits payments quickly, and require the use of electronic payments and prepaid debit cards to deliver direct cash relief fast. This is incredibly important because when I started recording on April 25th, I had so many viewers who weren't receiving the checks because the checks were coming by paper check. Some got half a check by paper check and half by debit card. It was a hot mess express. I mean, there was no bombshell there to reveal every day at the 10-minute mark. It was just sort of obvious. And so what Joe is saying is that no, we just need to do everything electronic. We need to ensure that you get your UI because I get that question all the time. My UI was slow. If you're in the room right now, there's about 3,000 of you in the room right now. If you're in the room right now and have gotten unemployment benefits, what state are you from if you're on unemployment benefits? Let's see what state you're from for unemployment benefits. Tennessee, Georgia, Maryland, Alaska, Michigan, Arizona, California, Georgia. Arizona was first for the LWA. Colorado, Texas. Texas had problems starting initially in April. Rhode Island, California was fast. Michigan, I don't know what happened. LA, I'm just late for my walk. Wyoming, Tacoma. Florida was very slow doing their benefits. I have one viewer who had to wait almost 3 months and finally got almost 15,000. Connecticut, Oregon, Kentucky. Uh, Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, New York. New York had a security breach early on in the process. Ohio, Pennsylvania, retroactive Oregon, New Jersey. So you see North Carolina. So you see a lot of people from all over the place. And what's important to know is that Biden would do the unemployment benefits to ensure you get it until the pandemic goes away. Boy, it's just so important. And what I wanted to say about unemployment is that it doesn't cost Mitch or Joe or the national debt more money to say do more weeks of UI or do more weeks of FPUC. What costs the federal government money is the FPUC. And so ultimately, if they come to an agreement about the FPUC, that's what's important. And it's so important to get this relief because ultimately, when I started the broadcast, I talked about the vaccine. You and I know that the vaccine won't land in most doctors' offices for mass consumption until February or March, even if it's free because it's expected to be free. You still need these unemployment benefits. I have a lot of viewers who family members have gotten COVID in the last 24 hours, and it's very important you get this. I was even thinking of doing a recording because I've never done a video about this. You get COVID, what do you suddenly trigger more stimulus relief than I cover on a regular basis? Thank you, Tia, for the nice super chat, and thank you everyone for the wonderful super chat tonight. It's so incredible. In about 10 minutes from now is a taped recording of check. I'll be going over that SSDI, $200 a month, the hazard pay, the unemployment, the stimulus checks, the student loan debt forgiveness. And the only thing I didn't mention in there, of course, is that Biden wants you to and Mitch wants you to have eviction protection, mortgage forbearance, utilities not turned off during any type of pandemic, and all that and more. If you have any questions in today's video, drop them in the comments below, and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Also, go to the Funniest channel, subscribe if you've not, and also like this video. Coming up next is Check in 10 minutes. Don't miss that. Thank you for all the wonderful chats tonight. Final messages saying goodbye tonight. Hello to Carlos. Hello to Rick. Hello to Dan. Hello to Michael. Hello to Brandy, Miel, Beverly, Ahmad, and everyone else, and Andrea, and Simply Unique, Nancy, John, David, Todd, Jennifer, Rainstorm, Connie, thank you for the super chat, Pamela, and Dennis, and Todd, and Laura, and Bond. Have a great evening, and see you on Check in 5 minutes from now.